Multifamily Mindset
podcast. Think bigger. All right, aloha, my friends, and welcome back to the Multifamily Mindset podcast. It's Friday. We got Aloha with us. We're about to drop some shit in your earlobes.
I like that. I
Me
like
too.
that intro. It's Friday, and we've got Aloha with us.
It's Friday. We ain't got shit to do except for drop some Aloha into your ear holes.
I like it. I like it.
Any other holes you need? We got Jackson Campbell here. We got Tyler Devereaux here.
Yeah.
Let's dive into this thing,
Let's
dude.
dive into those holes. Here we go. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Today we're going to...
Resiliently.
What?
With resilience.
That's exactly what we're going to talk about today,
Shoot
Tyler.
the gaps.
Yes.
What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about building...
All y'all out there at home, clean it up.
Yeah, you guys have no idea what's going on.
What are we talking?
Me neither, though, for the record. Anyway.
90% of the time, I have no clue what's going on. I just riff. That's the beautiful part about riff. I don't understand half the shit that is coming back at me. I'm just spitting whatever I can translate it in back to whatever I can translate it out of my mind.
Yeah. And
You get it?
And it's been successful for you thus far.
I think so.
I hope, yeah. And it has. It has for sure. Yeah, no, it's definitely has been successful for you for sure. Awesome, dude. Okay, well today we're gonna kind of talk about you. No, we're not gonna talk about you, but I'm sure we'll learn a lot from you and how you've had resilience in building wealth. Today I want to talk about that. Today that's what we want to talk about is building wealth and resilience through multifamily properties and having the proper mindset going into multifamily and being able to build that wealth and build that resilience. First question I want to ask.
Can I say first?
Yes.
I believe if you're listening to this, you've tuned this in, you're like, man, what are we going to talk about today? And sometimes it's like, man, I'm going to build wealth with resilience. And sometimes people may be like, maybe I'll tune to another pod.
Yeah.
I'm resilient. Are you? Are you resilient? And what does that mean? And whatever stage you're at, have the results been what you would like them to be? Because sometimes if the results aren't where you want them to be, sometimes it's so easy to look back and be like, well, they're not where I want them to be because of X or because of Y or because of T or because of Q or because of U. Or maybe it's because of you. And listen, I don't say that in a judgmental way.
No.
I say that in a very loving way. I say that in a very loving way because, man, we are our biggest resource. We're also our biggest liability. So if we can understand that, though, and we can have resilience and we can carry resilience into anything and everything that we're doing, absolute game changer. Now, what does that look like and how do you do that? That's what I want to talk about.
Okay, dude, I love it, dude. Man, great intro. Thank you for that. So let's start off with that, dude. What does wealth and resilience mean to Tyler Devereaux?
Well, I believe that wealth is a byproduct of resilience. It's like, because no matter what you're doing, if I were to like choose one characteristic, like you were to ask me what is, it's hard with one, but if you were to ask me the minute I said that, I'm like, yeah, but actually I think it comes into play. It's like, I got asked recently if you had to define the bulk of your success, would it come down to, what did they ask me? They said, my work ethic, my network, or my skill set. And I said my work ethic.
Yeah.
Because I believe the other two are byproducts of that. It's like, you want a good network, you have to have the work ethic to build a network. Mm-hmm. You want skill set, you have to have the work ethic to actually hone in your skills. Very few things have ever come naturally to me. You just haven't. Maybe talking. I like to talk a lot. Yeah. I've always liked to talk a lot.
Yeah.
Humor, because I'm super funny. See? Jackson laughed.
Debatable.
But it's like, I've had to work at things. And that's resilience.
Yeah.
Resilience in my mind is tied in with work ethic. Because I believe that resilience is work ethic. Like, I look at being resilient means being knocked off, in my mind, it's being knocked off baseline, your ability to get knocked off baseline and get back to baseline. That's resilience. But what happens when you do that, when you get knocked off baseline and then come back to baseline, your baseline is shifted. Your baseline is shifted because you've learned by getting back to baseline. You've built emotional resiliency by getting back to baseline. You built emotional strength by getting back to baseline and confidence by getting back to baseline. And then it shows you that you can do it again.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're resilient in that, you can literally accomplish anything. So resiliency, if there is one key, so you asked me like, what does wealth and resilience mean? I believe wealth is a byproduct of resilience because wealth takes resilience. Like, it's a hard game. Like, by hard game, I mean mentally hard.
Yeah.
It's not, wealth isn't physically challenging. You don't create wealth from a physical challenge. I mean, you could,
Sure, yeah.
but if you're going to keep wealth, that's going to take a mental resiliency. So I believe it's a byproduct of.
Yeah, that's so good, man. That's so good. So essentially what you're saying is all wealth starts here.
Yeah.
It starts with you being able to control your mind and getting back to baseline when you get knocked off, like you said, dude. That's some real good fire right out the gate with this episode, dude. That's some good stuff, man. Anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yeah. I mean, I think lots I want to add to it. Maybe we can get in, but it's like,
Sweet.
how do you build that mental resiliency, right? Like what does that look like in the moment? Maybe we can even just talk about that as we go through.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about that as we go through.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, real quick. Define what a resilient mindset is and why it's crucial for investors to have it.
Well, I think the same thing. So I think the resilience mindset is what I just talked about. It's like, it is taking ownership of the outcome and being obsessed with getting to the outcome. And by obsessed with the outcome, I actually really mean knowing that the outcome is going to happen by being obsessed with the process. And resiliency is the process that once again makes the outcome inevitable. So as an investor, like we're talking about multifamily investors, you out there right now who are building your multifamily investment business. But honestly, I want to generalize it even more. You out there who are building anything great, dude. Let's look at the physical component. You want to build a physical, like you want to have like a physical, you want to
Be strong?
Yeah.
Fit? Physically fit? Tyler, what
you
do
want to work on your vocabulary. Dude, when you want to work on your fitness, you want to improve your fitness, that takes resiliency.
Oh, yeah.
You've been
Every
going
day.
through that journey.
Yes, sir.
And
Yeah.
tell me about that.
Yeah, dude, what do you want to hear about it? Dude, if it's it's consistent.
What's your biggest challenge?
My biggest
Be
challenge?
real now. Don't, like, literally, what is your biggest challenge? Because I think I know what it is because I think we've talked about it. But what do you think your biggest challenge is in your journey?
Probably belief in self. Yeah.
And what do you mean by that? Because that's exactly where I was going to go. And what do you
Yeah.
mean by that, though?
Dude, that's growth right there that I even recognize that. Man.
Yes.
That's huge.
And that you're willing to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, dude. No, for sure. Definitely. What do you mean? What do I mean? Like,
What do you mean by that? Belief in self.
dude. It's like, it's resilience. It's like actually doing the thing to prove that you're resilient. Because once you can prove that to yourself, then it's a lot easier to keep doing it. It just, dude, like what keeps coming into my mind right now is that Hormozi quote. You don't become who you want to become by shouting it into the mirror. You become who you want to become by stacking undeniable proof that you are who you say you are.
Yes.
That's what so that's what I'm getting from this, dude. Is resilience is doing what you say you're gonna do, even when it's hard and you get knocked off baseline.
Yeah, especially.
Yeah, especially.
Those are the most important times, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you don't feel like it. When those times.
Today was definitely one of those days for me. We had our Maui meeting early this morning, and I did not want to exercise this morning, but I got on my bike and pedaled a few miles. Dude, but it's the consistency of doing it when you don't want to do it. That's resilience for sure.
And what's so hard about that is like your identity with it, right? Where it's like, is this really going to move the needle? Right? Like, do I really have the capacity to get to what I'm looking to get to?
Yeah.
Like, do I? And is this going to move the needle? Fuck. Because if it's not going to move the needle, then why am I going to do it?
Right. You're not going to know until you do it.
Yeah, there's no guarantees.
There's no guarantees, even if you do it, that it's going to move the needle. Even when you're thinking that what is guaranteed is the action that you can take right now.
Yep.
That's the only thing that's guaranteed. I knew I could get on my bike and go riding this morning. That was my act of resilience this morning to my goals. That's what that. Yeah. Dude,
what else is guaranteed is you don't know if that is going to result in losing weight or being more fit. Just like these steps that we're going to take, or these steps that we take within a business, we don't know if that's going to create wealth. We don't know if that's going to end with the result of wealth. but I do know what it will do. It'll fortify you mentally. And the person that you become on the journey of is wealth.
Yes. Oh, dude, that's so good. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wealth.
Yeah.
So it's like I've seen your confidence increase because of resiliency. Like I've seen your confidence increase not just in fitness, in everything.
Yeah. No, for sure.
How you handle situations, how you handle setback, how you handle yourself.
Yeah.
I've seen it change because of the small things that you've done in your life. So I say that because so many people out there they think that this change, they hear the word wealth and it's like this big thing, this big
Right.
jump. That's not it. It are these small, little, simple things that compound and compound. You know, Ed Milet calls it compounding pounding. You're just like consistent, go, boom. Now it's like those will continue to compound, and it may look like you're not making any progress until all of a sudden you're an overnight success.
Right.
It's not that you're an overnight success; it's that you have been resilient with your consistent efforts, right? So I don't even remember what the initial question was, but what does it come down to? It comes down to that consistency, and that will change you mentally. And as long as you're changing yourself here and you're strengthening yourself mentally, it doesn't matter the setback that comes. You have the identity that you can move past it. You have the identity that you're strong enough to get through it. And I'm going to tell you that the more you climb up the mountain, the more shit that is coming your way to knock you off that motherfucking mountain.
Mm-hmm.
You think that it's the hardest in the level that you're at right now? Good
No.
Lord, dude. No.
No.
It gets, when I say that, and I'm only at a certain level up the mountain, so I look at the people that are above me in the mountain, I'm like, man, those motherfuckers must be going through it.
Sure.
But do you know what happens? You have such a mental callus, you become so mentally tough that it's like, yeah, it's still challenging, but at a certain point, you stop doubting yourself. You stop doubting your ability. And when you make that transition of like, no matter what it is, dude, I'm good.
Yeah, dude.
That's a game changer.
Bro, I love the analogy that you use of a mountain. It's people up there, up higher than you on the mountain, right? And you're thinking, oh man, how are they doing up there? It's so hard. It's got to be so hard up there. But what we forget is that they went along that same trail that you did to get up to the top of the mountain and learned those things that they needed to learn to get to the top of the mountain. So the challenges that they're facing, the level of difficulty of the challenges that they're facing, is probably the same level of difficulty of the challenges you're facing. They're just more equipped because they've traveled up that mountain higher, gained those experiences to attack those problems that are more difficult. Mm-hmm. When in reality, it's probably the same difficult level for that individual and where they're at in their journey, right?
That's it, dude. And sometimes we tell that's exactly it, bro. Sometimes we tell ourselves this story that those people just got dropped off at the top of the mountain.
Oh yeah, no way.
They didn't hike it. They just got dropped up there. Mm-hmm. No. If they're there and they stay there, it's for a reason. Mm-hmm. And if you're looking at somebody in the distance, you're like, man, I would love their life. Well, if you want their life, then you have to earn it. You actually have to do the shit that they've done to get to where they're at. Mm-hmm. That's resiliency. So let's dive into some of that.
Yeah, I love that, man. Okay, awesome. Okay, so these key components of resiliency within multifamily real estate. What would you say are some of those top components?
Flexibility and adaptability. And what I mean by that is, you think about like this journey that you're on, whatever journey that you're on. If you think about it, there are going to be, once again, setbacks. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be all sorts of things that knock you off baseline. But what's your narrative in those moments, right? So Dallas talks about the most important conversation. He calls it TIMIC, right? The most important conversation, which is the one you have with yourself.
Right.
And that internal narrative is so powerful. Now, powerful. That could be powerfully positive or powerfully negative, but it's powerful regardless. So what is that internal narrative? Like, I was having a conversation with, it was actually very, very fun, and he would not mind if I mentioned this. It's Frank Tashima. Shout out to Frank, you're a freaking stud.
Amazing.
And during everything that was going on with the Maui fires, I reached out to him, and he jumped in my truck. And we drove all the way over to Lahaina to get through the backside to go drop off supplies.
Yeah, tons of stuff. And
when we were chatting, he was talking about how it's tough to build this business. It's tough to build this business from Maui. Now, I will tell you, it is it is challenging, dude, to build the business from an island. You're literally on an island. It's challenging. But my narrative, my mental switch with that, my narrative switch internally, which is what was so cool. And listen, every time when you get knocked off baseline and come back to baseline, and you've enhanced your baseline, you're now in a better position to help other people enhance their baseline. But if you don't do that, you are not in the position to do that, to enhance others. So what's cool is I've had that same internal narrative that he just said, but I've been able to be flexible, be adaptable with my mentality, and find the negative within any positive. And it is actually, that's your strength. Whatever you think your weakness is, whatever you think the challenge is, that's actually your unique ability to turn it into a strength. And what I told him is, I was like, dude, I look at my marketing videos. What sets me apart is Maui. If I could tell you how many people have been to Maui or love going on vacations, or they see my marketing videos or content videos, period, in Maui, there's an immediate connection. People who have been to Maui or Hawaii, period, love this place. Just like we love this place, which is why we live in this place. Just like he lived in Dallas and then moved back. I'm like, just why you live and why you moved back, dude, because it's special. It's special to people. So what you view as a weakness could actually be a massive strength if you just talked to that and viewed it as a strength instead of viewing it as your detriment, your cross to bear. And it was like this unlock. I saw this unlock in him, and it was very, very fun to see that.
Yeah, dude, and it's a very, very powerful thing. 2 months ago, was it last month you talked about on our Maui meeting? We do a Maui meeting here at the Multifamily Mindset every month. Ty, we're all lucky enough to hear from Ty for an hour, and you talked about that. You talked about the internal narrative and that internal story that you're telling yourself and how important that story is. Yeah, dude, so I just wanted to drive that home.
The stories we tell ourselves, I said, sometimes the stories we tell ourselves limit our ability to respond. And sometimes the stories we tell ourselves massively enhances your ability to respond. So what is that story you're telling yourself?
Yeah.
What is it? Like, another conversation I had recently was, it was an email. It was like, man, you're just complaining. It's like, it sucks because this is the worst time to start this business. If that's the narrative that you're telling yourself, that this is the worst time to start, yeah, it is.
Yeah, for you. For
right?
Sure. Yeah.
It's like, so being flexible and adaptable is like, with the situation that you're in, if you're viewing it in a negative, it will be a negative. If you can literally sit down to find the positive within any negative, you'll find the positive. And I believe any negative can be turned into a positive. We had a property, Village East.
I'm glad you bring this up because this is a great example of how we turned a negative into a positive. Go ahead.
Totally.
Go ahead.
Dude, we bought this thing in 2020 right before.
Yeah.
Dude, end of January 2020 with the plan to evict slow, non-paying tenants. It was bad management was the problem. Our job is to replace management, enhance the overall feel and environment on the property by evicting slow, non-paying tenants. 2 months later, COVID happens. Legally, we can't evict. And then a fire happens.
Burns down how many units?
It was, it burnt down 8 units.
8 units.
8-unit building, whole building. Most people look at that as, man, this sucks. Yeah. This is a negative.
Yeah.
But that fire actually, because we took over and we're like, yeah, things are going to change to tenants. We care. They don't believe that. They don't believe, you can say a lot of shit. It's not what you say, it's what you do.
Right.
Now all of a sudden we have a fire. Well, it's not necessarily a positive thing most people would see. But what we did is we took that opportunity, we went above and beyond to take care of the tenants. Things that we didn't have to do, but we did because we actually care.
Yeah.
And then what happens? The whole environment on that property shifts because they don't just hear that we care, they actually see that we care. I don't believe that. Now, I wouldn't wish a fire on anyone.
No.
Like that sucks. But successful people don't control the events, they control their response to the event. They don't control the event, they control their response to the event. And in that moment, our response was make it into a positive. Whatever negative you're facing in your life, you got to be flexible enough and adaptable enough to make it into a positive. And if not, well, you don't deserve wealth. That's number one.
You don't. No, dude, it's so good. It's so good. The Village East example and watching you and Ryan navigate that was exactly how you just said it, dude. It was turning something that could have been catastrophic to the deal and turned it into a positive, man. It was awesome. Okay, dude. So what's something else?
Well, along those same lines, I mean,
Yeah.
I would say risk management, man. Like strategies for risk management, because as you're going through, there's going to be challenges. You're going to make mistakes. There's going to be setbacks, like I'm talking about. But once again, what is your ability to dive in and find the solutions to a challenge that comes up?
Right.
And learn, literally learning experiences. Like Aspen, we buy this property, Aspen, 224 units in Fort Worth, Texas. The learning lesson, and we put in a bridge loan, 3-year bridge loan. Mm-hmm. Well, our learning lesson there is, number one, is the wrong loan. We should have put in a longer term loan. Number two is our timeline to reposition the property was too aggressive. Those are our learning lessons. Those are the setbacks. Those are the risks that come up because of okay, that sucks. And has that been a challenge?
It has for a couple months now. Yeah.
Yep. But when you're resilient, you find solutions.
Yeah.
Dude, you figure out solutions, man.
Yeah.
Like,
tell us about the solution here. I don't know if that's kosher, but can we talk about the Aspen opportunity?
totally.
Yeah. Okay. So, dude,
Absolutely.
so talk about the Aspen opportunity and kind of what it's been incredible to watch this come to fruition, dude. Like, because me being not as experienced in this space as Ryan and Tyler and Lindsay, I couldn't think of any solutions. I literally didn't know what we would do, but these experienced individuals have found a solution that's actually going to benefit the investors. It's incredible.
Well, and that's what it comes down to first.
Yeah.
We have to, in order for us to put in a solution, we have to identify what are we looking to achieve.
Yeah.
What's most important? And what was most important is investor experience. That's most important. We could have rolled out of the deal. We could have sold the deal. All those things would have resulted in investors not just getting the returns that we projected, but, dude, losing money.
Yeah.
We've never lost money on a deal. It's not an option for us. Mm-mm. So now we have to find solutions. So knowing that we want to make sure that we enhance investor experience, now we have to find solutions that meet that. So we don't sell it. We don't try to refinance that will hurt what we do is we resell it to ourselves, actually.
Yeah.
Because if we resell it to ourselves and now we rebuy, we can put it in a long-term debt. We can have our investors who come on keep their position. We had to raise a little bit more, but then they keep their position, bring in more. Now they get a benefit from depreciation, just a tax write-off, but not just a tax write-off. That's a big deal. It's literally one of the biggest aspects of multifamily is being able to pay a lot less in taxes.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest benefits for sure.
But if we were to refinance, we wouldn't benefit from depreciation. By buying it back from ourselves, we benefit from depreciation. We put in a long-term loan. Dude, our options are better. But do you know what that took? That took lots of brainstorming.
Oh, man. So much problem solving.
And huge shout out to Ryan, because Ryan has spent countless sleepless nights putting in those solutions. We also could have done a capital call, which means investors would have had to. This is what I don't think, they would have had to invest. We didn't want to put them in that position. We don't know what their capital is like. So instead of doing a true capital call, we buy it back from ourselves and give them the opportunity to invest. They don't have to. They have the opportunity to. And if not, we'll cover that. We will cover it. We're bringing it in. It's but we gave them the opportunity instead of a have to. That's a benefit, dude. There's so many people that have been walking away from deals right now because they are not resilient enough to find solutions. They aren't resilient enough to find strategies to mitigate risk. What they've done is they like it when things are on the upswing and everything's easy, but the minute it gets hard, they roll out.
Right.
That was one of my conversations the other day. One of my conversations the other day was, and this kind of stuff, I'll be honest with you, I loathe mediocrity, and I loathe people who aren't committed to the process at hand. And there was a gentleman that when I first met him, he would tell me that he's, top 1% or whatever. And I'd be like, man, I love that you see yourself that way. Love that you see yourself that way. Because I like to believe in people, man. Well, then that same person very soon is now not doing, just complaining about everything and not doing anything. Literally not doing anything. And my narrative to that now is top 1% of fucking what?
Yeah.
Of what? What have you done? Somebody came up to me right now, and I was telling my team this the other day. Somebody came up to me right now and be like, I'm top 1%. Okay, of what? What have you done consistently that's hard over the span of your life? And do I believe that you can be? Yeah. But of what? What does that even mean? You don't even know what that means. And I like the positive affirmations. I like it. But you also have to be real with yourself. Do you know what that takes? Resiliency. What that takes is shifting your mindset and having a positive narrative, finding solutions to problems, and then learning from situations. Not being knocked off baseline and then bitching while you're off baseline, but actually finding a way back to baseline. That's what it takes to be the top 1%. You really want to be the top 1%, then you need to have resiliency. And if you don't have that, then don't complain about the position that you're in. Don't complain about the state that you're in. Actually change it. And you can tell I get fired up about this because, dude, people need to hear it. We have people out there who are complaining about the positions that they're in, wanting a life that they want to live, but they're not willing to actually put in the work to get them there. Listen, if you don't want to put in the work,
Then you don't want it that bad.
then you don't want it that bad.
Yeah.
This shit's hard.
Yeah.
It takes mental fortitude. It's, once again, it's not physically challenging. It's mentally challenging. Mentally challenging. It becomes even more mentally challenging when you make a mistake, when you mess something up. Have we done that?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I just talked about Aspen.
Yeah.
Listen, hindsight's 2020. I look back at Aspen, I'm like, man, I wish we would have done boom, boom, boom. But guess what happens? Those mistakes actually become your strengths. As long as you identify them, learn from them, and are resilient enough to implement them. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
So, man, you need to, I just believe that there's a Kobe Bryant quote, okay? You're going to love this because I know you're a Kobe Bryant fan.
Yeah.
I saw it the other day, dude. He said something along the lines of every negative, so pressure, challenges, setbacks, whatever, are an opportunity for me to rise up. That's a mindset. So you ask me what it takes, it's that. It's that no matter what the setback is, no matter what the challenge is, no matter what the problem is, it's like your narrative internally is, this is my opportunity to rise up. This is the time. And you've seen this happen along this journey so many times.
Yep.
A setback that's like, man, we think that could be debilitating, but our mindset is, this is how we rise up. We do this, shit, what else can we do?
Right.
Then nothing holds us back. Then nothing will get in our way. And that is the narrative that you have to have in your mind. And then you find the positive within any negative, and not just the positive within any negative, but you literally turn the negatives into positives. And you know what happens? Wealth creation, confidence, traction, growth. And now no matter what comes your way, you know that's that switch. Now you know no matter what gets thrown your way, no matter when you get knocked off baseline, you know you can get back to baseline. And you know, and you're excited to get back to baseline because you know they'll be stronger by doing it. You know that you'll be more weaponized, more capable to help other people. Or you don't get back to baseline and you won't be able to do shit.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing, dude, I love everything that you just said and couldn't agree more. And one thing I just want to add on to what you're saying is, as you're going through this and as you get knocked off baseline and as these new challenges pop up, remembering that everything that you've been through in your life has prepared you for these challenges. That's why these challenges come up, is because you're ready for them. Right, dude?
Say it again. That's good.
Dallas talks about, or we all talk about all the time, life happens for you, not to you. Right, dude? So these challenges that are popping up in your life, it's because you're ready for them. It's because you've taken down all these other little challenges along the way, along your journey for this big challenge to pop up, because it's having the confidence to know, and the resilience and confidence and all that bundled up in one, to know that you are who you are right now to take down that problem that has popped up in front of your face. That's resilience, dude. That's, for me, like, just another angle on resilience, is knowing that, like, no, it's, these problems are for me. They're not happening to me. They're for me to continue, so I can continue to grow, to take down even bigger problems as they pop up later in my life.
You're ready for them.
Yeah.
That's a mindset, bro. Like literally think about that internal narrative that you just said. Man, I'm ready for him. This is meant for me.
Right. Just because, like, imagine that, dude. Imagine problems are coming up in your life to shine a light on what you need to work on. Just try to think that, like, try to think with that type of mindset where it's like, no, these problems are good because now it's telling me how like these experiences and these opportunities are popping up in my life so I can live through them, to grow through them.
Yeah.
To come out on the other side better.
Bro, our biggest problem is that we think we shouldn't have them.
Yeah.
We live in such an entitled world. Such an entitled world. And that entitlement leads to you thinking that you deserve something. You don't deserve a motherfucking thing.
No one, yeah.
You literally don't deserve shit.
Mm-mm.
You know what you deserve? You deserve to actually be resilient, actually take accountability. When challenges come, when trials come, and you think that you're just entitled and it's somebody else, this challenge is here because somebody else didn't do what they were supposed to do. Dude, that's the opposite of taking ownership. And that is the epitome of being the victim of any given circumstance. So in that moment, if you shift your narrative to, man, this is for me and this is how I'm ready for this, that's taking ownership for not just your outcome, but the outcome of others. Because I think where people miss it, I know where people miss it, is when they hit this stumbling block and they hit this badge of victimhood, they think, well, two things. They think that it only impacts them, which it doesn't. Mm-hmm. People are watching you. Even if they shouldn't, they are, mm-hmm. and you're impacting their belief. Now, that's their problem, but I believe that you'll be held accountable for that as well. The other side of that is they hit this trial, they hit this stumbling block, and they become a victim, and then they make sure to tell everyone else, hey, man, be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful of what? You know? It's like, be careful, there's a challenge. Well, no fucking shit.
Yeah.
You dipshit, what do you think we're pursuing?
Yeah.
Jackson started this off and said, welcome here, you dipshits. And listen, some of you are fucking dipshits because you think that there should not be challenges. Your biggest problem is that you don't think you should have a problem. That's your problem. Then when anything that comes your way, you get fucking blindsided by it and knocked off track because you're so entitled that you think your journey should be different. You're so entitled that you think it should be easy.
Yeah.
Which is why your life isn't easy. Do you know what makes your life easier? Actually just taking accountability. And literally, here's the narrative. This challenge that comes, man, if I don't overcome this, these people, whoever these people are that I know look at, they're going to suffer because my inability or my unwillingness to find solutions. We'll let ourselves suffer a lot. But this is why your why has to transcend self, because if I don't get to here, then these people suffer. Mm. I'm not okay with that. I will fucking fight and I will nail whatever it is to make sure that all those underneath my stewardship thrive.
Yeah.
Now it's their job to thrive, and the best way that I can make sure that they know that it's their job to thrive is for them to know that it's my fucking job to thrive.
Yeah.
And as they see you live your life the way that you do, they will be inspired to live their life a way that to a different level and be inspired to live to a different level simply by the way that you handle and take care of your life. You know what that comes down to? The small shit that we talked about in the very beginning. The waking up on time, the using the journal, the documenting your wins, documenting your learning lessons, actually honoring self-promises along the way instead of lying to yourself along the way. That's it.
So good, man. Dude, Ty, thank you, brother. Dude, all this that we went over today is so powerful. One thing that I wanted to add on just what you just said now is stop looking at these problems as you wish they didn't exist. Right? This quote that I shared with you yesterday. Oftentimes we look at things as we wish they were. We look at problems and we think, oh man, I wish this was this way. Instead of wishing something is one way, look at something for what it is and just accept it for what it is. And that's a beautiful thing. Don't quit wishing these problems don't exist. Quit wishing that this problem was somebody else's. Quit wishing that these things didn't land on you. But just take it for what it is, dude. And it's all, and at the end of the day, problems are a good thing.
Totally.
And it's going to be all good.
And it's so easy when you're going through a problem to hear a bunch of couple douchebags.
For real, dude.
Couple douchebags like you and I.
Yeah, just sit here and talk about it.
Just get through it.
Yeah.
But you want to know why you need to hear a couple douchebags like us tell you to get through it? Because when you're in the moment, it is fucking hard.
Yeah.
It is hard to hear it.
Yeah.
It's hard to take that internal narrative. You need people to yell that into your ear and tell that into your ear, or else you're going to stay stuck into it. We go through the same thing.
Hell, I need it. You need it. Yeah, dude.
Hell
Y'all
yes,
need it.
dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I don't want people in my circle that just tell me what they think that I want to hear. I need people that will tell me what I need to hear. Need to hear. Call me out when I need to be called out. Britt, I just posted on our Facebook page recently. Britt will tell me when I'm dropping the ball, not in a judgmental, angry way. That's not how she operates. It's in a very loving way. But in the moment when you're going through a challenge and somebody is telling you something that is not serving to the narrative you have in your head, it can be frustrating. Mm-hmm. It can be frustrating. So this whole podcast might be frustrating. In fact, if it is, you probably aren't still listening to the podcast.
Yeah, you probably
tuned this shit out a long time ago. That's the problem. See, in the moment, you want to listen to things that aren't necessarily serving to your narrative, because what's fucking you up is your narrative. Mm-hmm. And you need somebody to help you shift your narrative so you can shift your baseline so you can actually be resilient into what you're looking to do. You have to be resilient to win.
Yep.
You have to have a sense of urgency to win. And when I say win, I mean win. I mean like win at whatever it is you're doing, dude. Whatever it is you're doing. And you're in control of it. You have to that urgency. And if not, man, then, dude, that's it.
And applying these things that we talked about today is exactly how you take ownership of the problems, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly how you can take it. Dude, there's so many.
It all comes down to your narrative, bro.
Dude, all comes down to your narrative.
One more thing, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, no, I love it. We can do 2 more things if you want.
And we will do 2, because we got to do a Hawaiian value too.
That's true. We got 2 more things.
Which is, think about the state that we're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I mentioned right in the beginning is, man, this is the worst time. This is the worst time to start this business. No. At any stage when you starting is challenging. Mm-hmm. At any stage when you start, there's challenges. You know what's interesting? Those who started a couple years ago, they're like, this is the worst time because it's so competitive. So competitive. You know how you won deals over the last couple of years? Most earnest money, non-refundable, and highest offer. Like, that was one of the ways that you won. And it was so hard to even crack into the competition because there was so much competition. Now, interest rates have risen, the market has cooled off, and people are on the sidelines, and deal flow has went down.
Oh, yeah.
The deal flow went down, but
people in the market trying to buy deals have also gone down.
That's went down.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so what now happens, but your ability to connect with brokers, I've never had more brokers. I have brokers call me every day.
So true.
Literally
so
every
true,
day.
Yeah.
Why? Because, man, they have to do outbound. Over the last few years, they've had all inbound. Now they're having to do outbound.
Who are they doing that outbound to?
People
who have been doing the inbound to them.
Yes,
dude.
it.
That's who they're going to be doing it for.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And so now your ability to connect with them is at a high level. Now, it is your narrative, right? So we know that all of us know this. We've all heard that the best time to buy deals is in a recessionary state. The best opportunities, life-changing opportunities, generational wealth opportunities come in a recessionary state. We've heard that. You know that listening to this. But the same narrative, even though you know that, the same narrative in your mind is that there's nothing out there. It's the worst time to start this business. No. Any stage has challenges. So if we know that the best time to buy is in a recessionary state, then why don't more people do it? Because they're mentally weak. They tell themselves they're scared, they're nervous, and their narrative is dog shit. They're not resilient. So it is those people who have that don't capitalize off a recession.
Dude, what you're saying right now reminds me of the Chinese proverb. The best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The second best time to plant a tree is today.
Right now.
Yep. Start now.
That's it.
Yeah, dude.
Start building your team. Start putting things together, and know that the result that you're looking for is inevitable with the process.
Right.
Process related. Consistent process breeds whatever fucking outcome you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you, mentally weak inconsistency breeds, well, the shit that you ain't looking for. But you're going to find it because it's your process. The process that you're doing right now is going to breed you the results. What's your process? Is your process being consistent? If so, your result will be beautiful. Is your process being a consistent little bitch? If so, well, your result will be inevitable too. It just won't be one to write home about.
Right.
Right? Won't be one that creates generational wealth. It won't be one that you're proud of. And you can change that right now by just changing your narrative and actually choosing to be resilient and having an identity that that's who you are. And that starts, once again, not by the big things, but the small things. Are you waking up? Are you writing in your journal? Are you going to the gym? Are you doing the shit that you don't want to do? I hate pull-ups. I don't like doing pull-ups. I don't.
That surprises me.
No, I don't. I hate them. I will procrastinate those forever. But I literally just had this thing where it's like, okay, fuck, I'm procrastinating this shit.
Yeah.
So now my goal is to do pull-ups every day.
Nice.
Because I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate them. I really do not enjoy them. But if I can get through those, maybe I'll learn to love them.
Well, you should change your internal narrative about your pull-ups. That's what you should do.
Okay, listen.
Strat just said I would hate pull-ups too if my arms were that small.
Shiz. They're hard, man.
Yeah.
But you know what? By doing them, it makes you, by attacking the stuff that you don't want to do, changes you.
And you probably have a system to doing them.
It's the first thing I do.
First thing you do.
I stretch, then I do my pull-ups.
Knock them out.
Immediately. If not, I won't do them. That's what I would do. I'll wait until the end. And then I'd go like a month and I'd be like, shit, I haven't done any pull-ups.
It's been a few workouts, yeah.
That's it. Man, you can tell that I'm a little bit fired up about this
No,
one. But
so
I'm
many
fired up
takeaways,
about
man.
it because I see this is what stops people. It's not resources. It's not opportunities. It's resiliency. Lack of.
Yep. Dude, so good. Ty, as we wrap up today's episode, a Hawaiian value. I love the one that you've chosen for today.
Po'okela.
Yeah, go ahead.
Po'okela, which means superior, best, outstanding. And Po'okela, the value of Po'okela teaches us to strive for excellence, to do outstanding work. And I mentioned something earlier that I said I despise mediocrity, and I literally despise mediocrity. I don't understand people who don't want to pursue greatness. And if you're not trying your hardest at things, if you're not really wanting to be your best, I don't want you around. I don't. Like, that's not, listen, there's many circles where you will be very welcomed. I'm just telling you, I don't want you around because you may rub off on me. And I don't want that. Comfort is of the devil, dude. Comfort's of the devil. Because comfort's like, this is okay. This is like, I did the minimum. And if you do the minimum, you'll get the minimum. The minimum is the minimum. It's so easy to set yourself apart in today's world because it's just, Ed Milet's principle, do one more.
It's so easy.
That's what it is, though.
It's so easy to set yourself apart.
Go the extra mile.
Do it.
Do the unexpected. Right?
Yep.
Dude, how has that impacted your life?
Oh, dude, massively. Like, even when I didn't even really understand why I was going the extra mile, I just knew it was a good idea. I just had a feeling like, just work harder, keep working, go the extra mile. Didn't really understand why. Just knew that it was a good idea. It's benefited me in more ways than I could have ever imagined, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people won't do it or they'll do it for a little bit of time, but not consistently because they're like, man, what if it's not recognized? What if it doesn't provide the result? Well, if you recognize it, it will always provide a result.
Right.
You don't need anybody else to recognize
Nope.
it. But I want to tell you that if you do it consistently, people will inevitably recognize it.
Yep.
But you don't need them to. What that's going to do for you, the result you're looking for, is mental toughness.
Yeah.
An enhanced identity.
Yep.
That who are you? You're somebody who freaking lives Po'okela. You do outstanding work. You only strive for excellence. And then guess what you'll become? Excellent. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Dude, doesn't matter what you're doing. No. You could be playing golf. You could be playing backgammon. You could be playing checkers. It doesn't matter. You could be cleaning the office. It doesn't matter. Strive for excellence. Po'okela. And that comes down to resilience, man. You cannot be excellent without resilience. Mental fortitude. So I love y'all, man. If you found value from this episode, comment, share, subscribe. I don't know. All those things you're supposed to do. And then, man, quit being a little bitch and live always with the Aloha. Peace. Multifamily Mindset. Podcast. Think bigger.